dear colleagues. Hello, everyone. I'm happy to see all of you here. And this is already our tradition since, I think, 2000, maybe 11, when we first time present Excellence Visage threats on this conference. And since that time, every year, Aptos doing some presentations. We are trying to speak about our past year. Usually during such session, we speak what we did during the past year. And we also say something about the next year, and maybe something new as well. So this time, again, as always, I would like to say few words about Aptos, few words what we did during past year, 2022, what we are planning for the future as well, and to share a little bit more information about us. So, first, I would like to say a few words about our highlights from the past year, 2022. And I would like to have a little bit active, let's say, session on the beginning. And that's why we decided that for most of you, you know Aptos very well. So you should know all these numbers, which I'm going to present right now, what we did during last year. And for those who will guess this number, you will get one package of Excellence Visage, our best products from our portfolio of 30 different type threads. So the next slides, you will see numbers. And if you understand what means that number, just tell us and you will get a product from our side. So let's begin. First number, 26. Very important number. Anybody has any idea what it means? Years, who was the first? I don't know. I have seen this. Yes, your hand first, yes, raising there. So, yes, dear colleagues, it is 20 years already. Our family is working for that, working for achieving something big and something important. For example, this is my son, Marlen Sulamanidze, third generation. And he is driving now on the place of our future manufacturer, which we created. And it was our dream, my father's dream from the beginning, more than 26 years to have a manufacturer created in Georgia, built it in Georgia, and now we have such building and such great place. Together with our team, a big team of Aptos, more than 300 people working in Aptos team all over the world in the different offices. Together with our trainers, more than 300 trainers are sharing their experience with other colleagues. And together with our colleagues all over the world, we achieve this possibility to create a third manufacturer of Aptos threads in my homeland, which is very important, and create product which was born in Georgia and now is made in Georgia as well. And that manufacturer now present in Tbilisi, where I will be happy to invite, dear colleagues, all of you, to see how we are producing threads, to see how we are doing this product in our manufacturer. And of course, to join on one of our course, because in that manufacturer we have a nice place where we are doing courses every week. So be with us there, and I will be happy to invite you to our manufacturer. From another side, from the beginning, we were thinking that such manufacturer should be a green manufacturer. And even when we started to create an idea of manufacturing, manufacturer building, we were thinking to make it energo-effective and, of course, safe for the energy. We have solar panels that are working for the manufacturer in the front of our building, which is generating more than 800 kilowatts of electricity every day, which is fully covering all our needs. That's why our manufacturer is green. But what is that number? You can guess about it? No, not solar panels. Not offices, but you are close to the trainers. I will have another slide about it. It is connected to the trees. Yes. So during last year, our solar panels generated more than 1 million kilowatt of electricity, which is the same like we planted 300 trees. So we make world green as well with our manufacture. We are not just manufacturing thread products, but also we are trying to be green on this planet with our product and with our manufacture as well. And we have a very nice place, really. You can join it. We have a place where we can play football, and sometimes we do it with our colleagues and with our partners as well. And for those who don't like sports, we have wine cellar, where we also produce Georgian wine. 1,500 liters per year, black and white. So if you will come to join us on the course of the thread lifting, you can join us also on degustation of Georgian wine, which we produce by ourselves, and drink wine with us, Georgian, very nice wine. Let's move to another step. 90. Okay, one here. 90 countries. Yes, we are now in 90 countries with our partners and with our distributors, and this is a great achievement for us. Dear colleagues, dear partners, dear friends, Aptos has achieved a great success over the 25 years of history. And the prime example is that Aptos present in more than 80 countries today. Our achievement would not be possible without the contribution of each of you. Thank you for this support and your trust. Aptos can turn time back, and this Aptos clock is a symbol of that. Aptos clock spins constantly, which implies that the thread reaching you must revert to us together with you. So thanks to our colleagues, our distributors, and our partners in all 90 countries where we present today. 16, another number which is important for us. Mara. Offices. Yes, please, offices. And last year it was the 16th office which we opened now in UAE in Dubai. And this is the offices where we present by ourselves. But it doesn't mean that we do something else than our distributors or partners are doing. We are doing the same with our offices and the same with our partners, and we have same support on the both sides. Next number, 316. Not trainers. Who? Not distributors. Employees. What? Say more actively, doctors. Yes, we have 316 team members and also 300 trainers all over the world, dear colleagues. This is a very interesting number. 3,000. Threads, you are close, but not exactly only threads. Products. Okay, who said products? Well, Mara. Packages. Last year, Aptos sold 3 kilometers of Aptos products. If we will put them together, we can build 3 times Burj Khalifa. This is a huge number, dear colleagues. 3 kilometers putting together. But another interesting number, 3,036 threads. Threads, and not only threads, kilometers of threads. So as you can see, manufacturing process of threads is not so easy, and it's really quite difficult process. So that's why we focus on the quality of our product. And of course, we work a lot to have the best quality product. One more number, 43,721. Not trainers. Not trained doctors. Hats, yes. More than 43,000 Georgian flags went from Georgia outside in more than 90 countries, dear colleagues. I think our company did the best for the country in that field, because I'm not sure that somebody sent so many flags of Georgia country all over the world. More than 43 countries, so we love our country as well. And we work for our country and for our homeland as well, dear colleagues. And another number, 22,000. Okay, one more time. Doctors, but what we did with the doctors? Workshops, yes, workshops, here. 22,000 workshops done last year all over the world, together with thanks to our trainers, dear colleagues. 300 trainers are working every day all over the world to share their experience. And what is important, we are trying with our product to give solution for our patient, and this is important when doctors are sharing this experience to the colleagues. And one more number, 10,000. Not ideas, not techniques. Look here. What they are doing? Procedures. Procedures. Somebody said here, yes, 10,000 procedures only in our training centers done during last year for the training process. More than 10,000 procedures. So why we are doing that? Why we are doing all this, dear colleagues, together with you? Of course, we are doing it for our patients. Of course, we are doing to make them happy. And I always say that aesthetic procedures and aesthetic doctors have a quite difficult specialty. We have healthy patients coming to us, and we underwent a procedure, medical procedure on their face or body. And afterwards, they should stay healthy and they should become also happy. Not just with elevated eyebrows, not just with elevated cheeks or neck. No, they should become happy. So it is quite difficult. It is difficult for the doctors. And of course, it is difficult for the companies to create products that will make patients happy with the hands of the doctors. So that's why Aptos always working to create the best product. And we focus on the thread. And looking on the thread, we can say that this is just a small device and there is nothing to do to produce it or to create it. But from another side, it is a huge work to think about each part which is included in the thread lifting procedure. When we are thinking about the threads, which type result we expect to get? Of course, it should be some kind of lifting effect, reposition of the tissue. But from another side, we're also expecting some stimulation, and all this is a factors which working for that two reasons: reabsorption period, fixation of the thread in the tissue, and of course, stimulation because of the composition of the threads. And each factor which is present here on the slide is very important. Starting from the technical part, how we place our threads. And in case of Aptos, we have more than 50 on-label methods we can use with our threads for face, body, and sole solutions. How is design of the introductor we place the thread? Is it cannula? Is it a sharp needle? Or it is the needle with a blunt tip at the end? How we place barbs or fixators on the thread. It is also important, and you know that we have different type threads in our range. But now I would like to speak about other parts, fixators and composition, which is crucial and also important in case of thread lifting procedure. Why Aptos choose barbs and not working with the threads, with the coins, for example? Why we still produce such products, and why we use also PLACL or PLACL HA material and not using, I know that you know, other composition. First of all, of course, we have to understand that in case of choosing the material for the thread lifting, all the companies are thinking about the polymers, not using monomers. That's why all the product that present today on the market is P something, PDO, polydioxanone, polylactic, polycaprolactone, or combination polylactic and polyglycolic acid, or like in our case, polylactic, polycaprolactone, and also hyaluronic acid inside. The reason is that, speaking about the composition, most important is such thing as crystalline regions inside of the composition of the thread. And polymers gives us that type crystalline regions, which is comparing with another part, amorph region on the thread, are much more stronger. And diffusion inside of these crystallines is practically impossible, or it is reduced. That means that such type thread absorbs in the long period, and it is strongly fixing tissues inside. So, speaking about the properties, practically each part of this property is important. Mechanical strength, degradation, chemical composition of the thread, of course, and efficacy of the lifting and at the end of the stimulation as well. Comparing different type threads, we can say that the longest thread which lasts in the tissues, it is PLACL, polycaprolactone, or combination of polycaprolactone together with polylactic. Almost 2 years absorption period. The rest of the threads like PDO, polylactic, polyglycolic acid, or just polyglycolic acid thread absorbs quite fast. So we should not consider that type threads for the long-lasting effect of fixation inside of the tissue. And even other part is important. I told you about crystallinity of the thread. And in that case, the best one we have in case of PLACL. That gives us better tensile strength and less elongation. Less elongation means the thread will not elongate with the time. It will save the structure and the size inside of the tissue, comparing with other composition. But from another side, it will save as tensile strength. That means that it will hold tissues inside. And let me show you how it works. Most of the thread that present on the market is just a surgical suture material, and practically all the threads are used for wound closure. But for wound closure, as we know, we don't need a long-lasting fixation of the tissue. It is enough just to have for a few months. That's why, for example, comparing PLACL with polylactic polyglycolic acid threads with the coins, we can say that after 6 months of implantation of the thread with polyglycolic acid, coins absorbs in the tissue, fully absorbs, and the thread after 1 year. Same publication shows us that around the thread with the coins, some fibrotic tissues appears, which is working with the time. And this fibrotic tissue gives us fixation effect. We did quite interesting research, and we counted an average value of the force when we need to apply when we remove the thread from the tissue within some period. 7 days, 2 weeks, 21 days, and 3 months after. And let me show you a very interesting diagram. This research will be in publication very soon. From the beginning, the tensile strength, the force you need to remove the product out from the tissue, comparing Excellence Visage and Silhouette Soft 6 threads, coins, is practically similar. 7 newtons. With the time, Silhouette working better in the first week and 2 weeks after. But later, threads made from polyglycolic acid lose fixation inside. And after 3 months, there is no more fixation at all. This is explaining because the coins absorb in 6 months. But Excellence Visage, look, 1.77 newtons need to remove thread out from the tissues after 3 months. What that means, 1.77? Is it big or small number in newtons? Let me just explain you what is it. So one Excellence Visage thread, to pull out after 3 months, you need 1.77 newtons. That is similar, like 180 grams. And in case of full package of Excellence Visage, which we put on the face of our patient, it is similar like 1.800. So almost 2 kilos Excellence Visage can hold in the tissues after 3 months. As we know, the average weight of the face, skin, and soft tissue layer is only 50 grams, 500 grams, half kilo. So after 3 months, Excellence Visage can fix 4 faces. That's why, speaking about the composition of PLACL, even with the barbs, even smaller than coins, they are fixing tissues better. We, of course, compare different type threads, and in the publication we will show that difference. But again, let's compare barbs with the coins. And we decided to count the surface which is connected to the tissues. Surface of the barb and surface of the coins. Of course, coins are much bigger than any small barb on the thread. And even there is a question why Aptos do not produce coins. Okay, maybe another material, but coins should be better. They are bigger, and the surface of fixation should be stronger. And we counted it. And let me show you very interesting numbers. So again, Excellence Visage, which is our best product, you know about it, 56 single barbs on the thread, 19 centimeter long thread. And we have coins with a 4, 6, and 8. So each barb, in case of Aptos, has a fixation surface 0.72 square millimeter. In comparing with Silhouette, which is 8 square millimeter. Of course, it is a huge difference between them. Of course, Silhouette coins works fixing much better part of the tissue than any barbs. But let's count all together. In case of Excellence Visage, where we have 56 single barbs, it is 40 square millimeter per thread. In comparing with Silhouette, 4, 6, and 8. So we are quite close with the one thread of Excellence to the 4 coins Silhouette thread. But let's compare the package of the product. 10 threads with the 10 cannulas in the package, and usually 2 in the package of Silhouette. So you have 4 times more fixation possibility with the barbed Excellence Visage thread than 8 coin Silhouette thread. That's why, again, we don't use coins in case of Aptos. That's why, again, we believe that even small thread, but specially designed, and you have more on the thread, can give you a better elevation. And this is shown on the clinical research as well. On our patients, we can see a nice elevation of the tissue for more than 3 millimeters after several months. And same you can see on the clinical research of both products. In case of Silhouette, after 12 weeks, and in case of Aptos. You can see that reposition of the tissue for more than 2 millimeters, we have more than in 80 cases, 80% cases, than in case of Silhouette, which is less than 20% cases. And here is the numbers. 12 weeks after, elevation of the tissue for more than 2 millimeters, we can save for more than 80% cases than in case of Silhouette, where is the less than 20%. Let's speak now about the histology of the Aptos threads and other products as well. Do we get a stimulation effect from the thread composition? And comparing a different composition, we can say that, of course, same as PLAGL, polygalactic, polyglycolic, same as lactic polycaprolactone, we do produce some elastin and also collagen around the thread. And this stimulation is practically the same in all the cases, except, of course, PDO threads. They are quite indifferent in the tissues. From one side, it is good when we are closing the wounds. We are sure that we are not creating scar tissue around. But from another side, for the stimulation effect, we cannot achieve anything from the PDO threads at all. And looking on the different research as well, we can see that stimulation from PDO is very weak. And more stimulation we are getting from other compositions. PLA-CL, PLA-LA, lactic acid, polycaprolactone with polylactic or polyglycolic silhouette thread. All of them have quite similar stimulation when we are speaking about that type products. But it looks like we are getting stimulation only because of the foreign body. And we can compare this stimulation effect from non-observable threads. And same stimulation we are getting from polypropylene. After implantation, we increase quantity of blood vessels, which moves more blood in the area where is the threads. We increase more possibility of trophism, and also we increase connective tissue formation around the thread. All this looks like a stimulation, but this is a stimulation because of foreign body implantation in the tissues. But we don't need that type stimulation. We need a real stimulation. That's why we created a product with hyaluronic acid. And we did it more than 7 years ago. And it was a revolutionary product. Threads with hyaluronic acid first on the market, and until today, this is only one product which present on the market with hyaluronic acid. Since that period, we are working a lot to make it better. And now we have such product. And very soon, we are going to present it for the market. We are going to launch that type threads, which has 20 times more HA inside of the composition of the thread. That type thread gives us possibility to have much more benefits from the composition of the thread. So as I already explained you, in case of Excellence Visage, we believe that this is the best thread design. Best thread design because of the special design of the barbs. Because of the placing the barbs, making the barbs on multi-direction on the thread. The best way of implantation as well gives us possibility to reach a good fixation of the tissue, reposit this tissue, and save the result for a long period, more than 1 year. And composition of the thread, which is also very important in case of Aptos. We make it better with the threads which have 20 times more HA inside of the composition. All this increase the result of stimulation of our tissues inside on the patient faces. If we will compare that thread with just hyaluronic acid, for example, in infrared spectroscopy, we can see that it gives quite similar picture. So our thread looks like hyaluronic acid on the composition. And also we created a special surface, a structure of the thread. And this new structure is also important because it is mimicking the extracellular matrix, which is part of our body, our cartilages and our bone. So that type thread, after implantation, will be like our body tissue inside of the tissues. We'll get better fixation and better stimulation effect. And this is shown with the different research we did with the histology. We increase collagen type 1 in comparing with HA present threads and with hyaluronic acid, which is not cross-linked. We also increase quantity of stimulation of collagen type 3. Again, comparing with the present threads, it is really looks like more than 20 times more of increase. And same happens with the elastin stimulation around the threads in the tissues. All this will give us possibility to reach better effects for our patient. Not only mechanical elevation, but also stimulation of the skin and soft tissue. And this gives us a great results for our patients, whether for the young or for the aging cases, which gives us possibility to reduce even superficial wrinkles in small areas, or change the structure of the skin as well. And of course, to reduce wrinkles and to elevate tissues up to get a nice effect of elevation and reposition of the tissue. So that type new product we are going to launch in the nearest time, and you will be able to use it for your colleagues, for your patients, dear colleagues. We will have more publications very soon about that research that I am showing you. Some of them, they are already published, and some of them we will have a publication just in the nearest months. As you can see, dear colleagues, we are working a lot to reach more and to enter in the fourth generation of Aptos threads. Thank you very much.